Hi, Gator Nation. My name is Peter. I was born into poverty-stricken, war, diseases, and displacement in southern Sudan. I got separated from my parents when I was 3.5 years old, and I went to Ethiopia. I was taken there by people that I didn't know because I was too young and did not even know what was going on, just because of the civil war that was going on between the North and Southern Sudan. So I got separated from my parents and didn't know where they were because I was playing with my age group or my peers, and as a result of that, so I was taken to Ethiopia by people that I had no idea or that I had not known, and I was taken to the orphanage home, and I stayed there in the orphanage home with other kids who got separated from their parents as well. So only UN was my first parent, especially United Nations, so took good care of me by giving me food to eat, even though it was not that enough. So it was not as big as the food my parents would give me, but they really kept me alive, and then they keep me surviving. And then in 1991, so I left Ethiopia with other refugees for Sudan because the government was overthrown. And then we went back to Sudan and lived as internally displaced refugees, and I stayed there in the Sudan for 6 months. And then the government of Sudan, my then government, did not have compunction about attacking us, and we had to flee to Kenya, where I lived for 9 years. So I lived in Ethiopia for 3 years and then in Kenya for 9 years, and I lived there for 12 years. Nobody taught me how to read and write, so I had to learn it by myself, and nobody provided me pens or pencils or notebooks, so I had to learn everything in a very, very hard way. But UNICEF, United Nations Children Fund, brought books from the US, Japan, and Europe, and we had to use those. They brought a smile to my face when I saw all those notebooks, and it was a great thing because I used to write with cardboard instead of pens or pencil, and then I would use charcoals. And the reason why I always, even though in 2001, so I immigrated to the US because the US government gave me the opportunity to come here because of my living in the refugee camp for a long time without my parents. And I always tell my friend that I was a Gator before I came to this country. The reason is that when I was coming, a friend of mine who was older than I was bought me a Florida shirt. The shirt was, one on the right leg was blue, and then on the left leg orange, and then with the name Florida. And I didn't know what that was, so even my friend didn't know what that was. I didn't know that those colors are the symbols of the Florida, of the Gator Nations, and I had no idea that I would find myself in this university. So I didn't know even about the University of Florida. But that shirt, that piece of cloth that my friend bought me, it symbolized that I was a Gator before I attended this university. So it was not until 5 years ago that I decided to look for a good public university like the University of Florida, but it was not easy for me to come to this university, so I had to work very hard. I did not have access to high school, so therefore I had to take GED, and then I got my high school diploma, and then I started at the community college, Florida Community College at Jacksonville, my beloved city, and then I got my AA degree there, and then I applied to the University of Florida Political Science Department, and then got accepted. So that's when I realized that I was, I have been a Gator before I attended the University of Florida, because I started looking back at what, my friend, at that piece of clothes at the church, that my friend bought me, and I realized that that was a symbol of the Gator Nation. It was a symbol of the University of Florida. I wish I had kept it without, but I didn't know about that. But I had to find out about the University of Florida because I'm always interested in good schools. I had to go to Barnes & Noble bookstore by looking at the U.S. News and World Reports, the rankings, the best public universities. And then I went there, so I saw that University of Florida ranks #1 here in the state of Florida. And then I said to myself, so I must go to the University of Florida because it ranks #1. And that was very impressive. So what brought me was, the academic at the University of Florida, and because of it. It's one of the most prestigious universities in the country, and I'm very proud to be a Florida Gator. And what makes me happy is that this school has enabled me to think logically and to be a global citizen. I have met a lot of good people that are very intelligent, and we always have intelligent discussion about politics, because I'm a political science major and I'm about to be graduated in December of 2008. I'm very excited about that, and it's just going to be nostalgic, but my heart will always be with the Gator Nation. So I'm very happy and I'm very proud to be a Florida Gator.